Tonight we want to talk about our special segment called You Are God's Miracle, Not God's Mistake. You've heard it a time or two already. Hear it again. You are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Church can be such a difficult subject for the LGBTQ plus community, but the overwhelming majority of our queer community identify with faith. Today we discuss if there's even a need for a Sunshine Cathedral. So our segment asks, why do we need queer churches? Difference between anti-gay and gay affirming and queer. We touched on it a little bit already that, first of all, we're obviously not anti-gay, and that anyone is. I don't know why you're anti any group of people. I'm anti-meanness, I'm anti-cruelty, I'm anti-oppression, but why would you ever be anti-Jewish or anti-gay or anti-woman or anti-black or anti-people with AIDS? I never understand why you have to make people into these less than human things to despise and try to eradicate. So we're not obviously not anti-gay. And most of us are gay or lesbian or bi. We do have a lot of straight people, though, that are fierce allies. We have transgender people and non-binary and pansexual and asexual and the whole lot of it. But the queer part is that we think all of that is part of the sacred rainbow, that each of those people are made in the divine image, that each of those people have sacred value, that each of those people have a sacred witness to share, telling their own authentic story. So that's what makes us a queer church. And maybe you think, well, I went to a nice Methodist church or a nice Presbyterian church, or my church is kind of like that. Maybe, and I hope so.
Yeah.
But probably most people went to a church that was silent about queer people or mean about queer people, or on Pride Sunday once a year would do a big celebration and then see you next year. That's probably what most people are more familiar with. To have a church where we're not just saying we're okay, and we're certainly not apologizing for ourselves, we're saying we are part of a divine plan to make the world better. Yes. And we celebrate that. We're not backing down from that at all. In fact, we think we have a special mission. We're here for a reason, and it's to love out loud and to show that no matter what you throw at us, we are going to live with integrity, we're going to live with joy, and you can't drag that out of us.
Very good.
Very good.
I'll go back to something that, again, Trey Crowder said when he was recently here. He said if there had been a church like Sunshine Cathedral when he was a kid growing up, he would probably still be in the church.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the same thing for a lot of little kids out there who are still struggling with their identities. That if they can find a place like a Sunshine Cathedral, or if they can just hear about a place like it almost becomes the Mecca. If you can just get here, we'll love you, we'll affirm you, we'll celebrate you. And I think that's what why we need a Sunshine Cathedral, is to be that light, to be that beacon of hope for people who have not yet heard that God loves them just as they are. You don't need to change anything. God loves you just as you are. That's why we need a Sunshine Cathedral.
I have a personal story to share. I had a family member down a number of years ago, and they came to Sunshine Cathedral. Said it was wonderful. It was fabulous. I love this church. I wish there was a church like this near me, but of course there isn't in the middle of nowhere. Fast forward all these years ago now, we have the live stream broadcast. And so this family member has been enjoying the worship services, not often, but once in a while. It's nice to go on. Oh, Ann, it's nice to see you up there. It's nice to see your friends up there. It's great to see that. And then this family member, one of their children came out as non-binary. And then another child came out as trans. And here is this community out there saying, you know what? Not only do we love you and support you, you are welcome here. We celebrate you. We honor you. We affirm you for all of who you are. So that's special. That's really special.
That works for me.
Well, we are very different than your tradition, though. I guess we're different than all of our traditions.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's so blended. It's sort of the best of every tradition. But in the Baptist Church, it has its own sort of pageantry and its own sort of agenda, its own sort of message. And we're very different than that iteration, although I think we have a lot of the same passion, a lot of the same around justice and celebration and joy in that way. But it did look different. Was that hard at first to?
Oh my goodness. I listened to my friends talk about how they grew up and the churches that they grew up in. Their stories didn't mesh with my stories. I'm talking about Baptist church. At our church, my pastor never once denigrated any group of people for any reason. Now, we're talking about special days. They had a women's day, they had a youth day, but I don't remember a gay day. That doesn't mean that there was any negativity surrounding it. And a church like Sunshine Cathedral will always be necessary because what we say we mean. We believe in God's unconditional love. We believe that there is not a spot where God is not. You don't get that from a lot of churches. You get God, there's not a spot where God is not, except.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. That never worked for me. And now that I know that there is a place like Sunshine Cathedral, one of the members of the New Jersey church once said to you, now that I've learned this, I can't go back.
Yeah. You can't unlearn a thing.
Yeah, you can't unlearn a thing.
And we shared recently an experience that shows how disruptive our existence is. When I did Drag Bible, which I did in response to all the Drag Story Hour, that people are being all crazy and mean. And so I'm like, well, you know what? We're going to do it as worship. We're going to do Bible. We're going to talk about queer stuff in drag, in church. We didn't take it into the streets. We didn't take it on the road. It was in our sanctuary, our space. And we had the Rosary Brigade outside every week praying the rosary against us, having placards up, telling us what a danger we are, praying out loud that God would save them from us. They're on our property. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't go to their church with signs, but just that we lived out loud in our own space, doing our own thing. We didn't knock on their door, but our very existence disturbed them that they came out in the dark 4 weeks in a row to pray the rosary against us. That shows you how much we're needed. That alone shows that just that little disruption of what we're doing behind our own closed doors would threaten people so much, shows you not only do they need us, they need a lot more of us.
Sunshine Cathedral, # holy disturbance.
There you go. There you go.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.